Okay. So another question related to how law firms protect against the improper information sharing of client information within a tenant. So I guess going back to what we had earlier in the presentation about that internal security strategy and perhaps some of the tools that Microsoft provides also to help analyze and segregate out data.
Absolutely. So even though you already have cybersecurity measures in place, all of that needs to be reviewed if you're thinking about including AI tools for your team. The first thing to do is to classify your data, clean it up, structure it, and classify it. Those data loss prevention policies will be very important. Classifying the data, so certain data sets can only be accessed by certain users. And the licensing, the Microsoft licensing also has to be considered. So for some users that don't need to have access to very, very sensitive data, maybe we're good with a lower bundle. But for CFOs, CTOs, CEOs, maybe it's important to have a bundle that includes more security features because they have access to very, very sensitive data. So once that data classification is done, then it's important to go into and I don't want to get too technical, but with your IT team, go into the Entra ID and create security groups. Those security groups will have conditional access rules to some data sets or all data sets. So that granularity is really yours to control. It is your data and therefore your responsibility to make sure it is set the right way. So you will need to be involved at all steps with PACE or your IT teams.
Yeah, I think that's the key, and it's sort of almost going back a little bit to setting up file shares on your network, but this is just much broader than that. Who has
Yep.
access to a partners folder? And we're creating security groups, and partners have access to a partners folder, and accounting as a group, and they have access to an accounting folder and group. So this is just broader, where we're really having to work on classifying the data throughout all of your different 365 environments and not just specific to certain file shares.
Absolutely.
And the firm needs to be largely involved because ultimately those are the stakeholders that understand who should have access to what data.
Very important. You can't just offload this to
No.
PACE Technical or any other IT department. Everyone needs to be involved.
Yeah, we can provide the technical expertise, but that guidance has to come from inside.